Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 400, the real episode 400 of the Spearhead Sundays podcast. I'm your host, Lewis Spears, and I've got my last Australia show in Frankston, my hometown, September 20. Then I'm done in this country. Then I go to England, Scotland, and Ireland. I've got London, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Edinburgh, Belfast, Dublin, Glasgow, Liverpool, and Bristol from October 19 to November 9. But Frankston is September 20. And I can't wait for that. It looks like we're going to fill it. It's going to be a hectic show. I'm so excited. Never done a Frankston show ever before in my life, but I have some very special Frankston-specific material or gear, if you would like it to be more aptly known. Anyway, I am very excited to say that this is the actual episode 400. Like, we recorded episode 400 live on stage, but we decided to release it before the actual 400 because it had the driver's license reveal. This actually is episode 400, I think, if my math is right. So, man, 400 episodes to celebrate. You know what I'm going to do? I'm making Patreon free for this entire month. Patreon.com/LouSpears. You will get every week this month. I'm going to be putting out the Patreon podcast for free members. So you can go and sign up to Patreon right now for free. You can contribute money if you would like to, but you can sign up for free. You will get this month 4 episodes of the Patreon podcast completely for free. And that's my way of saying thank you very much. Also, Patreon members get 10% off the merch drop. So if you would like 10% off the recent merch drop for free, you can sign up to patreon.com/LouSpears for free, and you will get Patreon episodes for free all month as my way of saying thank you very much for supporting me. Now, let's get into the show. Dude, I have been driving. I've been on the roads, man. I've been driving. How crazy is that? When did anyone ever think that was going to happen? I've done the impossible, dude. I'm driving. I'm on the roads. I'm switching lanes. I'm doing head checks. I don't know what I'm looking for. I hope I'll know when I see it, but I'm doing them. You know, I haven't not done them. I haven't gone, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm looking for, so I'm going to stop doing head checks. I know there are a lot of people out there, women, who aren't doing those head checks. Do you like that? Now that it's like the minute I get my license, I'm like, I'm going to make fun of drivers who are of different sex and ethnicity to me. That appears to be, hasn't happened to me yet, but it does appear to be a fairly common side effect of getting your license. It's becoming slightly more sexist and racist. Hasn't happened to me yet, but it does look likely if you listen to anybody else who drives. Dude, you know what was very funny? I took my dog through the drive-through of McDonald's for my first solo drive. And I've been doing a lot of those like tenuous drives, and it's making me laugh so much because I'm acting like I'm 18 years old and one day, you know? First drive, I took the dog through the McDonald's drive-through. Now, let me just say, I blew my dog's mind when I said, come on, let's go. And she left the house and we got in the car, the little Honda Jazz that I do not fit in. I feel like that fucking Simpsons character. This was the only auto that I could afford. You know, hunched over with my neck forward and my knees touching my tits. You know that I have to step into the car with my left leg first on the left side of the steering wheel because I can't get my massive femurs underneath the wheel. So it's either I go in left foot on the left side of the steering wheel first and then kind of hunch my way in, and that hurts my back, or I have to like put my ass in and then bring my knees up to my neck and use my arms to squish it underneath the steering wheel, which is just as painful. I might be one of the only people on earth that actually needs one of those stupid fucking American Ram trucks. Those things are ridiculous. Anyway, I blew the dog's mind, dude. I got in the car in the driver's seat and she looked at me like, what is going on? You normally sit in the passenger seat. And then I got her in the car and I buckled her up. I put her in the back seat. And then I just started reversing out of the driveway. And she was like, what the fuck, dude? I didn't know that you could do this. What is going on? Took her through McDonald's drive-thru. Got her 3 nuggets. Changed her life. Now, every time I get in the car, she's like, let's go. We're going to McDonald's. I'm getting my 3 nuggets. So I'm going to have to not take her through the McDonald's drive-thru for ages to make her forget that. But the point is, I'm on the road, baby. I'm driving. Look out! I'm on the road. You know, I hit a fork in the road in my life, and I had to choose. And I've never had to make this decision before, and I know that everyone has made their decisions and they care very deeply about it. I had to choose my GPS Maps app and which one I liked. And I looked at all of them, because normally, you know, when you're on foot, it doesn't matter because you're going very slow. So you're probably not going to miss a turn-off unless you're sprinting. And if you're sprinting, you're probably not using maps. You're probably running away from an active shooter scenario. I don't know. When's the last time you sprinted? You ever think about that? I can't remember. Can't remember the last time I sprinted. I know, right? I reckon I jogged last week because I just wanted to feel it. But I don't know what would happen to me if I had to get into a sprinting scenario. Do you reckon I'd really hurt myself? Can you go from no sprinting for 15 years to just, you know, you hear a gunshot but it's not the start of a race? You have to sprint. This is the shit that I think about is like, man, if I had to sprint, would I just die? Maybe I should just go for a sprint right after this podcast. I'm going to get out of the chair and fucking go as quickly as I can. What's going to happen? See, I know that if I had to deadlift a car off somebody in perfect conditions with really good form, I could probably do it. Just the back half, I could lift it up enough because I can deadlift. But if I had to sprint, I'm probably going to blow out my hamstrings immediately. What was I talking about? I had to pick my driving app, and I was looking at Apple Maps, and then I looked at Google Maps, and I tried them both, and I didn't really like them. And then I thought, why don't I try that Israeli spyware technology, Waze? And I violated the boycott that we're all supposed to be following, and I downloaded Waze, and I was like, what's all the fuss about with Waze? Why is Waze so good? And it's probably so good because it steals all of your data. And uses that to you know, drop on children. But anyway, I downloaded Waze, and they had custom voices, and when I drive, the voice telling me where to turn is Thrall from World of Warcraft. So I understand that a lot of people out there are going, what about the boycott? But here's my rebuttal to that. What about getting directions to McDonald's from Thrall from World of Warcraft? Have you thought about that? I think that even like a child in Gaza would be like, that's pretty sick. If he knew what World of Warcraft was, he'd be like, that's fucking... Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm driving around. And I was thinking as well, like, what's next? Because I've been talking about this and it's been taking up space in my mind since I was 18 years old. Just this like task that I had to get done, that I had been putting off or doing poorly or life got in the way of. And now that I can do it, dude, there's so much room in my head for activity or a skill or a goal. What am I going to replace I'm going to get my license with? Now, I want to do it a little bit better. Like whatever I put in, I ideally don't want to take, you know, over a decade to figure it out. I would like to replace it with a goal that I could accomplish in like 18 months instead of 13 years. That would be good, but also we know what I'm like. So I was thinking about this a lot because I'm proud of myself. I got my license. It was very difficult. It only gets harder. When you're 16 to 20, it's fucking easy to get your license because you've got mummy and daddy teaching you how to drive. I had a mortgage. I had to pay some guy for lessons, Paul from Easy License. That's difficult. I had responsibilities. I'm looking after a son. I was very sick. Life got in the way. What I'm saying is it's absolutely not my fault and I'm not to blame for anything, as always. And I was thinking, what do I want to, like this? I'm very proud of myself. And what do I want to, what's the next thing? And I thought, well, what is left for me to do? What is the next thing that I need to do with my life? And I think it's just, I want to move. I want to pack up and I want to move to the States and I want to have a real shot at becoming a great. I really think I can do it. I really do think that I can be one of the greats, but I have to be in the right environment, like anyone. If you want to learn to swim, you got to be near a pool. You have to live near a pool. There's no pools near me. I'm in fucking Frankston. All right? There's an actual pool down the road, and that's made me quite good at swimming, but there's no comedy club here. We've got 2 in Melbourne, and then we got like 3, arguably 4 in the other states. This is not where you be to be a good comedian. Every single good comedian leaves because you have to. Because, it's like every single gym in our country, the dumbbells only go up to 10 kilos. And it's like, well, fuck, if you want to get stronger, you got to find a new gym. And if the gym is in a different country, that's where you got to go. So I am really turning the ship and all resources towards getting out of here and trying to make it in the States. I think that I'm eligible for a visa, the O1B visa, the Extraordinary Talent Visa, which is such an American name for a visa, isn't it? The Extraordinary Talent Visa. If I get that, I'm going to be insufferable. Who do you think you are? Who do I think I am? You're here because you were born here. I'm here because I'm an extraordinary talent. All right. So the government of your country, who hates you because you're poor, has given me a piece of documentation that says that I am a person of extraordinary talent. You better watch out if I get that document because I'm going to be the worst. But I was thinking, what are the roadblocks? Because this is the next chapter, man. We've done 400 episodes of the podcast. I love Australia so much. I love doing shows here so much. I'll never stop touring here, even if I live elsewhere. But I am not excited by making more money. I'm really not. I don't like, right now in all the major cities, I'm selling anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,000 tickets in like a Melbourne or a Sydney market. And then like, anywhere from like 100 to 300 in all the other cities. And like, that's amazing. I love that. That's cool. I get paid to do what I want to do. But I look at that and I go, well, I don't want to sell. I don't like selling more tickets would be great. Like that would be really cool, but I'm not chasing performing in a theater in Bundaberg. I want to be doing like comedy clubs in fucking Des Moines. And you can't do that here because we don't have comedy clubs. We have like 3. And because that's the thing. Like I'm at this point where, I'm 31. I'm going to be 32 in January next year. And the state that I'm at with my career, I've bought a house. I'm so lucky. I have become healthy. I overcame my health issues. I've got beautiful friendships and my animals and connections with other people and my family. And, I am making money out of this. I'm not making crazy money, but I'm I'm living and I'm paying my mortgage and I can afford food, and I could just do this forever. I really could. Like, I could just do this, and even I could do this and become more successful online and sell more tickets in this country, and I could, within 5 to 10 years, I could be making millions and millions of dollars if I really work hard. Like, I know these things are true, and I'm not excited by that at all. I don't want money. It's cool, and I'll never turn it down because you'd be stupid not to. I don't want to be rich and famous. I want to be really fucking good at my passion. I want to be really fucking good, and I want to really have a crack. I want to really try. And Australia, as beautiful as this country is, it's just not where the people that are really, really trying are for most industries. I'm talking about comedy, right? Because if you're really trying, you got to go to the States, because that's where it really is. And that's where you really get good, because there's a skill ceiling here for good reason, because we don't have enough clubs and we don't have enough stage time. So once you get to a certain level of good, you take a job in radio or in television, and then you do the comedy festival circuit once a year. You write a brand new show every single year, and then you just do that on a loop for the rest of your life until you die. And it's just not what I envision myself doing. And I'm okay with failing. I think that's the thing as well. Is like I want the opportunity to fail. Like, I want to try something that if I fail, I'll be cool with it. I think that's where I got to, like, where if I got to my deathbed thinking, man, what if I went? What could have happened if I went? I don't think I could handle that. If I got to my deathbed and I was like, man, I went, I tried my best, it didn't work, I came home, I'm proud of me for doing that. That I could live with, but the not trying, I got to try. And I think I can do it. And especially with the support of you, the Patreon is growing, the podcast is growing, the YouTube is going really well. I've put aside everything that doesn't, I'm really trying to put aside everything that doesn't serve the goal that I have of getting to the States. And I really think it's possible. I've been thinking about it. The only obstacle is just money. And money for me is kind of a time issue. I don't have a money problem. I got a time issue, because there was like 4 years where I wasn't making any money, and the money that I did have, I had to spend on my health. So it nuked my savings. And then last year was about recovering from that and catching up, because I was super behind on my mortgage. We all know this. Almost lost the house, all this kind of stuff. And now I feel like I'm just starting to leave the fog of like financial distress thanks to you. And I'm like, okay, I think I know that my bills will be paid next month. That's a pretty cool feeling, because I haven't had that for like 3 years. It's just been like, fuck. Can I pay you later? All right, I got to pay these people. I told them, it's just that. Now I'm like, dude, how crazy is this? Last month, I put my mortgage in the direct debit account 2 weeks before it was due to come out. That's crazy for me, because more months than not, I'm paying my mortgage after an angry email from the bank. And that's why I've got gray hair. But that said, I think it's turning around. I got a brand deal for the YouTube channel, which, by the way, if anyone's looking to buy a desk or an office chair, a standing desk, please wait this month, because I'm going to have a code for you soon. And I would really like for that brand to come back, because it's a good product But more importantly, it was good money. So if anyone's in the market for a desk or a chair, I will have a code for you soon to use. And it is actually good. Because I was looking at it, I was kind of like doing the math of how much money does it actually cost to move? Because the scary thing is, can't sell the house because, you know, I live in Australia. If I sell this, I will never buy another one. Like that's the fucked reality that we're living in, where the housing unaffordability is so bad and only getting worse that I know that if I just got rid of the house to fund my dream, that's great if that works. But also, even if it does work, I'm probably, you know, I would come home a multi-millionaire and they'd be like, oh, sorry, dude, while you were gone, houses went to $1 billion. Would you like a shoebox? So it's like, okay, what I need is like a bulk amount of, basically what I need is the amount of money to be able to make $0 for 6 months in a foreign country while I'm figuring it out. And I think I can do that. We've got the UK tour coming up, and then we've got Perth and Melbourne. Dude, if I can afford the immigration lawyer fees, which is like fucking $10,000. Isn't that crazy? That's, by the way, that's 10 grand to do the application. Like that's 10 grand and the government might be like, nah. Which is why I love Israel so much. And that's why I downloaded Waze so I can get into America. You know, when I go to that immigration appointment, I'm going to be wearing the American flag on one shoulder, a cross, and the Israel flag on the other. Let me in. Anyway, I should probably stop making these jokes. That'll be the last time. So it's like I need to get together the money to pay for the immigration lawyers, and if I can get that, I really do think I'm eligible. After that, man, I reckon we could get there maybe August next year. And that's really exciting. It's really exciting to me because it's actually looking real. Like I'm really starting to feel like how I used to feel in 2019 in regards to my like absolute single-minded assuredness that I know where I'm going. Because as we all know, with all of our lives, and especially in Australia, from like 2020 to the next 2 years, it was like, what the fuck's going on? And then I had to go through 2 years of surgery. So if I'm being honest, it's left a very deep mental wound on me, the 4 years of that. But I really think I'm like healing from that. And a lot of that has to do with like doing what I'm supposed to be doing, the mission that God has given me, which is to do comedy and to make people laugh and to bring some light into all of this. I'm feeling more and more certain, and I think that's the next step for us is like we're gonna get to the States. I want to go there, and I really think I can make it. I mean, I got a few friends that went over there. Like fucking, you know what was so cool? A couple weeks ago, James McCann did Joe Rogan, and I was so proud of him. I don't even know him that well. Like I've talked to him a few times. I've met him a few times. We talked a little bit online. He did episode 350, but he lived in Adelaide, and I was never in Adelaide that much. Like we knew of each other, but I was watching that, and I just thought, man, I'm so fucking proud of James McCann. That is so amazing and cool, and he crushed it. People loved the appearance. And then I just thought, oh, when did he move? And you know, he moved, from what I can tell, it looks like 18 months ago. In no other country can you arrive as an immigrant with barely any connections, no no fucking goodwill or reputation, no profile, and in 18 months of hard work and talent, end up on the biggest platform in the world and just rock it to like one of the biggest comedians in the country, which is what James is doing right now. From 18 months of like honest hard work after moving as an immigrant, I'm like, what, dude? What the fuck am I doing here? You know, if I put in 18 months of honest hard work and I go viral with every single upload, I will be a millionaire and no one will give a fuck. I'll be selling out theaters in Wodonga. I don't care about that. God bless Wodonga, but I don't want to make fucking 20 grand doing a theater in like regional Australia. What I want to do is I want to make, you know, $100 a night doing 5 sets a night at 5 different comedy clubs a night, 5 nights a week. That's what I want to be doing. I don't want to be going on Friday and Saturday regional tours in Australia and this and that and only getting to perform on Friday and Saturday nights to like just my audience of fans. Because that's another thing. Like, I love doing my shows, and the best part of my life is getting on stage and performing to you, but that's not how I should be practicing. That's not how I should be writing material. I shouldn't be charging you money for me to figure out stuff on stage, and I don't do that because that's not fair. But when you choose not to do that, where the fuck do you test out new jokes in this country? At an open mic where 7 people are half listening, where 3 comedians went on and just bombed because they were talking about their trauma to strangers instead of a therapist? Or you go and do like one of the 2 clubs in this city, and then it's like, well, I can't really test out material because this is my one performance of the week here. It's too important and I want to come back, so I got to do tried and tested material. You know, it's not the place to get good at something, to practice. The States is the only place you can do that regularly. Like, and by regularly, I mean like every weeknight. And I've been looking into it, and I think it's more possible than I think as well. Like, if I can get this visa, if I can get some money together, rent in America, if I'm in like a shared apartment, which is where you have to be as an immigrant because you've got to build up credit. Like, that's like, from what I can tell, about $1,500 to $2,000 a week US, a month, sorry, which is, you know, it's not that bad. And then my expenses shouldn't really go up that much because all the money that I'm spending on keeping myself alive, I would have to spend anyway. So it's not like that would double. Food and electricity and all that kind of stuff. Internet, you know, you just cancel it here and start paying for it there. And theoretically, I can make money there doing stand-up within maybe, you know, 6 months of trying and building connections and stuff. So I think it's very possible. And I think that's what I really want to direct everything to. And I'm telling you about this because this has always been what the show is. It's like, obviously I'm trying to be funny, but it's also like, come into my life and here's what I'm doing and why, and I'm taking you along for it, and we're going to do it together. When I did episode 400, dude, there were people that traveled interstate that had been listening to me when I was recording this show on a fucking $150 USB Blue Yeti microphone in my parents' house. And when I have those conversations, I just think not only do I owe it to myself to really try, but I owe it to you to really see how far we can take this. And I think we can take it all the way to the States and from there, the world. I'm not concerned with becoming famous or becoming a millionaire and all that kind of stuff. I view that stuff as a byproduct of becoming very good, but not the goal. I want to be really fucking good at stand-up. I want to be like a real comedian. I don't want to just be doing Lewis Spears tours and then I don't get to perform at clubs outside of that. I want to be able to every night of the week walk into a room of strangers who have never heard of me, who are not my fans, and make them cry laughing with my words. That's what I want to do every weeknight, so that when it comes for the Lewis Spears tour, I'm walking on stage with bulletproof material that is going to give you a heart attack. And I think that there's a lot of people like view that sort of drive as arrogance, or they view it as like thinking you're better than someone else when you really want to be great. But I think that's what it takes. I think that's what you have to believe. And I think that's how you have to operate if you truly want to become someone good. No one who we consider as a great thinks they suck or thinks they don't deserve it. They fucking know they are even before they are, and then they make their delusion a reality. And that's what it takes. So now that I have my driver's license, we're entering a whole new fucking era. Okay? I can drive now. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move. I'm going to the States, and I'm going to make that happen as soon as possible. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to smash YouTube, upload as frequently as possible without sacrificing quality, just focusing on YouTube. We're going to grow the podcast. YouTube is going to grow the podcast, and it already is. So many people are coming over from YouTube to the show. And the podcast is going to grow the Patreon, and the Patreon is going to get us the budget to be able to make no money in a foreign country as an immigrant. That's what we're doing, and that's why we're here, to really see how far we can take this. Because, man, could you imagine if every day I just had the opportunity to just do a vox pop in New York City? Or my vlogs, instead of me only really vlogging when I'm on the road, I can just make vlogs about living in New York. I love Australia. I love where I live. I love Frankston. I've done everything. I've done all of the things that there are to do. We have 5 cities. We have lovely cafes. There's nothing here. This is the best country in the world to raise a family. And I can't be a good father until I have a crack at the dream. Because if I hold a little infant baby and I've got in the back of my head, what if, I might walk out for cigarettes one day and never come back. No, I wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean? I got to find out. And that's what we're doing now. We're going to find out. All right? So, the WNBA, for the very first time, has become interesting because people are smuggling in brightly colored dildos to throw on the court. And this has happened so frequently that you are now able to take bets on what color the next dildo thrown on a WNBA court will be. Blue is paying big money. This raises a lot of ethical questions. What if I put $10,000 on blue and then pay someone else $1,000 to throw a blue dildo on the court? Am I going to prison or am I a millionaire? Inquiring minds would like to know. These are the big questions. This has become such a problem. I just saw, just before I started recording, another dildo has hit the court. Mr. President, a third dildo has hit the court. This one was green. I had my money on blue. I'm very upset. This has become such a frequent problem that the WNBA has banned bags for the audience of these games. So you can smuggle one of these dildos in, but it's going to be a real pain in the ass. And obviously the women are upset about this because let's not mince words. That's sexual harassment. You know, like, yeah, we're throwing a dildo on the court. That's funny when you're throwing it at the men, but when you're throwing it at the chicks, let's be real, that is sexual harassment. Yeah, go and fuck yourself with this, bitch. You're just sexually harassing a bunch of 7-foot-tall women who could beat the shit out of you. I'd be a little bit more careful. They're going to start treating these people who throw these dildos like they treat Caitlin Clark, just beating the fuck out of you. No ref stopping it, bragging about it on socials. You know what I'm going to do? I'm a firm believer in gender equality. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the NBA games and start throwing pocket pussies on the court. I'm going to chuck a fleshlight at LeBron James. And say, yeah, go fuck this. That's what I want to see. I want to start seeing fleshlights thrown at the men. Now, very unfortunately for the WNBA, men throwing sex toys on the court has resulted in a huge boost in ratings. That's a problem, but also it's good that more people are watching slow motion basketball. It's just a shame that this is why. Again, this makes me think maybe this could be like a marketing opportunity. Maybe instead of mascots that are dressed up as animals, you just have mascots that are like sex toys. You get if the WNBA players are always talking about the pay gap, they want to get paid more. I have a lucrative brand synergy moment for you. How about instead of punishing people for throwing dildos onto the court, we get a dildo sponsorship? How about this? Even more money. We partner up with a dildo making company and a condom making company, and one side of the arena all gets a free dildo of their colored choice as they come in, and the other side of the arena gets condoms, and at halftime, people with the condoms hold them open and people with the dildos try and piff them in. And it's like that full court from the back shot. If you can throw a dildo into a condom from the other side of the arena, you win a car. And there's a car sponsorship. Now, all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark has enough money to pay security to protect her from the other women. I should be in charge of the WNBA, man. I'm going to fix their financial problems. I think that it's a matter of time before we start seeing some battery-operated vibrating dildos, because at the moment they're all like $30 silicone ones. I think we're going to start seeing some battery-operated ones. You know what's so funny? Like I just saw this, I think it was an 18-year-old kid. Oh, I've got it here. Second arrest over sex toys thrown at WNBA games. Players and coaches speak out. I think it's so funny that dudes are surprised that they're getting arrested for this. Oh, what do you mean I can't just throw a dildo at a woman? If you threw a dildo at a woman in public, that would be sexual harassment. If you're throwing it at a court full of women, I mean, why would you be surprised? I mean, you can't throw anything at fucking professional sports players. You're going to go to jail. 2 men have now been arrested and charged for throwing sex toys from the stands at WNBA games. One described it as a joke that was supposed to go viral, and the other said it was a stupid prank that was trending on social media. We're cooked, man. This is planking all over again, but instead of people falling to their death from great height, it's like fucking like it's naively copying. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to put yourself on the sex offenders registry for a TikTok video. Players, coaches, and security staff have implored people to stop after multiple incidents in the past 2 weeks. The police report says he pulled the sex toy from his sweater pocket and threw it towards seats in front of him, striking a spectator in the back. Oh, you didn't even get it on the court? Oh, and I bet this guy thinks that WNBA players suck. You can't even throw a dildo from the stands onto the fucking court. You're upset at Angel Reese because she keeps throwing rocks? Can't get in the fucking ring? You couldn't even get a dildo on the court, man. Obviously, also couldn't get your real penis inside a real woman because any woman in your life will be like, hey, man, maybe don't do that. Police report says he pulled the sex toy from his sweater pocket and threw it towards seats in front of him, striking a spectator in the back, with reports claiming it hit a fan and his 9-year-old niece. Great job, man. Sex offender registry for throwing a sex toy at a minor. Good prank. Could you see, this is why when I see women go, oh, I hate all men, I'm like, you know what? If I took my 9-year-old little girl to see what should be a very aspirational game of women's basketball to show her what she could achieve in her life, and then some 18-year-old boy threw a fucking dildo at her, I'd be like, maybe the bloke should be in prison too. I'm starting to see the vision. This is so funny. He was tackled by a volunteer at the PHX arena who witnessed the incident and began following him as the man tried to leave the arena. Oh, so he was doing a drive-by dildo, just chuck it and leave. Fuck, that's so funny. Police say the man was arrested on suspicion of assault, disorderly conduct, and publicly displaying explicit sexual material. I mean, yeah, like this is like, it's like a step down from wanking on the bus. Throwing a sex toy at a 9-year-old girl. You can never be a teacher now. You're unemployable forever. You're on the sex offenders registry and you're going to have to explain it to your neighbors who don't want you to be around their kids. No, you don't understand. I was throwing a dildo at a 9-year-old girl for a TikTok video. Oh, so you were going to film it. That's your excuse? According to the court documents, the man told police it was just a stupid prank that was trending on social media and that he brought the toy a day earlier to take to the game. Luckily it wasn't, he didn't have it like in his in his bedside drawer. Just like, oh, I've got one here, used. Slightly used. Comments echo he said he bought the toy a day early because it was a silly prank. The comments echoed a similar sentiment expressed by the 23-year-old man arrested in College Park, Georgia, after he was accused of throwing a sex toy onto the court during the Atlanta Games July 29 matchup. A police report said he threw another sex toy. Oh, so repeat offender. Here we go, the dildo thrower. A police report said he threw another sex toy during the Dreams August 1st game against the Mercury, but that instance did not seem to result in a delay of play. I guess one of the women fell on it and it disappeared. He's charged with disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, public indecency, and indecent exposure. All 4 charges are misdemeanors in the state of Georgia, meaning that if he's convicted, the punishment for each can be a fine of $1,000 or jail of up to 12 months. So he could go to jail for 4 years. A misdemeanor for public indecency and indecent exposure may also require registration to the state's sex offender list. Don't do this. You're going to ruin your life. It's also not nice to the ladies that are trying to entertain us with their incredible basketball skills. Leave the slow motion basketballers alone. Fever guard Sophie Cunningham says everyone is trying to make sure the WNBA is not a joke and it's taken seriously, and then that happens, Cunningham said on her podcast. Well, I would argue that something that's holding back the WNBA from being taken seriously is the fact that star athletes have their own podcast while they're in season. That probably doesn't help. But I guess the reason why these women have to have podcasts is because they're not being paid a livable wage. And that's wrong. They should be paid much more, even though they don't make very much money. I've actually kind of turned around on the whole issue of the WNBA wages. They should be getting a lot more money than they are now, even though they're not generating enough money to justify that, because that's what an investment is. And it seems like the league has really taken off. So I think that to really make the WNBA fully profitable, they got to boost the players' wages so that these women don't have to do anything else and they can just focus on playing. All right? If this woman has a fucking podcast, she's never going to be LeBron James or LeBron Jenny. These women got to be paid enough money where they aren't working part-time jobs and shit, or being influencers and OnlyFans girls on the side. And that's what'll really make it fucking rocket. Whereas I guess, I don't know, it is a hard one, like the pay gap, because in many ways it makes complete sense of like, they absolutely should not be paid equally to the men. That makes no sense at all. In fact, the entire male league subsidizes the women league because they make that much more money. But that said, the women should be paid more than enough to not have a second side hustle, or it will never truly work. So the WNBA will likely never reach income parity with the men's league. But if they just give these women like a little bit more money or heaps more money, I reckon the whole league will make a lot more money, because the women should get better by being able to focus more money and time on becoming better players. Also lower the rim, man. I want to see some of these chicks fucking slam dunking that shit. It's too high. Anyway, I recently formed an opinion about basketball because my son cares about it. So I'm like, I got to learn about this stuff. Another wild change. A Lewis Spears who can drive and has some vaguely half-baked opinions on the NBA. You changed, man. You used to be cool. No other professional sports leagues have faced sex toy disturbances like this, and it started a conversation online about the perpetrators' choices to throw them during games in a women's league with high-profile representation of lesbian and queer players. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not because they're gay. It's because they're women. It's not funny. It should not be the butt of jokes or any radio shows in print or any comments. Oops, sorry, Coach Cheryl Reeve. The sexualization of women is what's used to hold women down, and this is no different. This is just the latest version. These people that are doing this should be held accountable. We're not the butt of the joke. They're the problem, and we need to take action. You know what's so funny about this is like, a huge reason why this is happening is because some fucking scam cryptocurrency coin is paying people to do it. That's what hasn't been spoken about like anywhere. Like the real actual perpetrators, the masterminds behind this constant dildo throwing, there's a reason why the more recent ones have been green. It's because there is a coin called Green Dildo Coin. A cryptocurrency group has claimed responsibility for at least some of the incidents, with the value of their meme coin rising 300% in 7 days. Dude, this is what I should be doing instead of trying to make money with videos. What I should have done is I should have put $10,000 on a green dildo being thrown and then invest that $100,000 that I win into the green dildo meme coin, and then use that money, that $3 million, put all of that onto a second green dildo being thrown. Mr. President, a second green dildo has hit the tower. Now I'm a billionaire. I'm wasting my time doing this podcast. Go, please sign up to my Patreon. There's money to be made. We didn't do this is the cryptocurrency. We didn't do this because we didn't do this because we dislike women's sport or like some of the narratives that are trending right now are ridiculous. The group spokesman said, "Hey, get a new spokesman. That guy can't speak." We didn't do this like we dislike women's sport or like some of the narratives that are trending right now are ridiculous. The group spokesman said, "Get a new spokesman. That guy can't speak. That's not a fucking sentence. Those are 3 sentences stitched together out of order. What are you saying?" Creating disruptions at games is like it happens in every single sport, right? We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in hockey, fans doing random things to more or less create attention. Get a new spokesperson. Use all this money that you've made on these fucking green dildo shit coins and get a new spokesperson. That guy can't talk. I think what they need to do is the next person who throws a dildo, you gotta throw them on the court. And all the girls who have been training martial arts to fucking put Caitlin Clark in a coma, they get to do that to the dildo throwers. That's what I think. You know what I've been looking at the discourse. Speaking of the discourse, there's so much stuff online about, and I think it kind of started with Zoran Mamdani, the guy that is looking like he'll probably be the next mayor. All these right-wing conservative people, he posted a video, he's a Muslim guy, and he posted a video of him eating with his hands, his fingers, eating rice. And all these right-wing people go, "This is fucking disgusting. Use utensils like a normal human being. Where's your fucking table manners? This is filthy. This is disgusting." And then a bunch of Muslim people, Indian people, a lot of different ethnic people from different ethnic cultures started saying, "Hey, you guys are fucking racist. This is just how we eat food. Like, there's nothing wrong with eating food with your fingers. What about you guys eating burgers or fruit with your fingers? You just don't like him eating with his fingers because you're racist." And I was looking at that, I was going, man, because when I watch people eat food with their fingers, I think it's gross. But I don't think that when people eat burgers or fruit or a sandwich. And I was like, why is that? Is that racism? I was trying to unpack it. Here's what I think is the difference, and I'll let you decide if it's racism. Eating big food with your hands is fine, not gross. Eating small food with your hands is gross. I think it all comes down to the density of the food, right? A burger, solid. Okay, that's a solid object. Rice, curry, it's fucking sloppy. If I pick up a sandwich and I take a bite out of it and then I put it back on the plate, not very much sandwich on my hand. There'll be some crumbs. If I grab a fistful of fucking rice with sauce on it, I got to go like this. Yuck! I hate that. That's disgusting. It's all over your hands. Also, drips down into your fucking shirt. If you got long sleeve, how do you stop that? That's what I think is gross. I think the spoon was invented for soup and for rice things. If you have a food that is like sloppy and it has little pieces in it and you're eating it with your hands, I think that's gross. And I also think it's inconvenient. Like, surely that's, when I watch people eat because eating a burger with a knife and fork is difficult because it's very difficult to get like the burger, like you put the fork in, as soon as you crush it, the whole thing explodes. So you might get like a fork full of just bread or just meat. So it's not, the burger is the bite of all the layers. So that's why we do. But with the hand thing, I feel like it's like using cutlery on a burger. You're not getting the ratio right because you can't pick up rice. You're just kind of scooping with fingers, and then that's like, surely it's easier to use a spoon and also yummier. There is something to be said though about eating with your hands and how fucking primal it does feel. Like I made steak and eggs and cheese, and I cut the steak up into pieces, and I just ate the steak with my fingers, and I felt like a fucking caveman. It was cool, and then I had bits of cheese, and I ate that. But then I didn't do the egg because that's messy. I think that's the difference. It's like, you know what else? Like, you know those like here's a good example. You know those burgers that have way too much cheese and sauce on them and it like drips all? That's gross. I think that's yuck. Like if a burger does that to me, I would prefer to use cutlery on it. And I think that's the difference. Eating small sloppy food with fingers is gross, and the spoon fixes that. Is that crazy? Like you wouldn't eat yogurt with your hands. That's a spoon food. I'm trying to think of like a Western equivalent of because it's not the food. I'm like, oh, curry, yuck. It's not that. It's the viscosity of the curry. You scoop it up. It's all over your fucking hands. You're like dripping. It's in between your fingertips. That's the difference. Like when I eat a burger, it's not between my fingertips. It's not going down my arms. I don't look like a fucking toddler. And I don't have to go. It's the same thing as like when like Asian cultures, slurping is like a compliment. It's not rude at all. When I hear someone slurp, I fucking want to hit him. It's disgusting. Like it really, really, really sets me off when someone goes. I hate that so much. But over there, it's normal. So I guess it's just learned disgust because it's not how you do it. But I also do think that like the slurping thing, whatever, because that doesn't make a mess. I think that's the difference for me. Like I can put the slurping thing down and be like, that's cultural differences. But the eating sloppy food with the hands, I'm like, that's messy. How do you not fucking drop it all over the table and all over yourself? And don't tell me that you never do it. I see them. It's if your meal has rice in it and a sauce, that's a spoon food, man. That's not a hand food. If your burger has way too much sauce in it, that's also not a hand food. I don't want shit all over my fucking hands. That's yucky. Am I crazy? I think that is the difference. It's tiny little, it's the whatever. I'm repeating myself. It's also because you have to go and suck it off your hands like a vacuum. It's gross. Makes me very upset. And also, I don't know how well you wash your hands. You know? That's another thing. It's like, how well are you washing? I know you washed your hands. Well, I know you told me you washed your hands. But if you washed your hands, let's say 10%, 20% people don't. We know, we've seen the numbers. It's like half. People just fucking don't. All right? But of those who do, who's really washing? Right? Out of the washers, who's wetting and drying? Who's wetting and then leaving without drying? And who's actually using soap and scrubbing properly and then drying? The numbers would fucking horrify us all. I bet. It's like when this super viral tweet that I keep now seeing on Instagram with like 100,000 likes. It's very relatable. Where it's like something like, I understand that brushing my teeth before I go to bed is a really easy thing to do that will benefit me massively, but it just feels like torturing myself, and I don't want to do that. And every time I see it, it always has 100,000 likes and a bunch of shares and retweets because people are like, that's me. And when I see that, I go, we're not washing our hands properly, are we? And then when I realize that, I go, I don't want to eat from the communal hand bowl of with people who, maybe some of them wash their hands properly, but anyway, man, I think you should be the mayor. I saw this as well. Zara ads banned for featuring unhealthily thin models. This is very contentious. I had a look at these ads. Zara models, these ads in the UK got banned because the models appeared unhealthily thin. This is very interesting. The Advertising Standards Authority said shadows and a slick back bun hairstyle made one of the models appear gaunt, while the pose and low-cut design of a shirt in another image showed the model's protruding collarbones. The watchdog ruled that the irresponsible adverts must not appear again in their current form, and that Zara must ensure all of its images were prepared responsibly. Zara has removed the adverts and said that both models in questions had medical certification proving that they were in good health when the pictures were taken. The two banned adverts appeared on their website and in a carousel of images showing clothes on and off models. And I looked up the images, and the models are thin, but they don't look unhealthy to me. In fact, one of the girls looks kind of jacked. She looks pretty muscular. She's definitely skinny. But dude, some girls look like that. I mean, I look like that. The amount of effort that I have to put in to look like not unhealthily thin, even though I was healthy, is pretty massive. Like, some people are just naturally like that. Not to defend the modeling industry, which, as we know, in the past was doing heroin chic stuff, like intentionally running with starving models. But these particular models looked like normal thin women to me. They didn't look unnaturally, dangerously thin. But this raises a huge issue, right? If we're banning models that look thin, arguably healthily thin, are we going to ban obese models too? Because I see models all the time that are going to die of a heart attack before 50. You see that shit all the time of like morbidly obese models. Not fat, not obese, morbidly obese. And if we're banning women that are like on the skinnier side, that the doctors are saying, no, she's healthy, should we not ban morbidly obese women from appearing in advertising? Like, what's the difference? How far do we go with that? Should we ban women who are amputees because everyone should have two arms? No, I'm being facetious with that one. But like, I would absolutely argue that the more pressing health concern for young women and men especially is obesity. Like, that's definitely the more dangerous health issue facing the world. Well, the Western world. But we're still worried about like models that are a little bit thin. She didn't even, I don't think she looked unhealthy at all. I think she definitely was small, but I don't think she looked sick. I see girls every day that are like that aren't trying to be like that. That's just naturally how they are. I'm a super skinny guy naturally. Like, I don't know. That's like, yeah, that's very weird to me. The ASA said that the pose of the model, because here's the thing now, the advertising standards industry is trying to like ban this photo without trashing the girl. And their argument kind of falls apart when they describe it. The ASA said the pose of the model and the choice of clothing, including large pointed shoes, which emphasized the slenderness of her legs, made the advert irresponsible. What the fuck does that mean? Earlier this year, fellow retailer Next also had an advert for blue skinny jeans banned. The ASA said the advert emphasized the thinness of the model's legs using camera angles it deemed it irresponsible. I don't know. This is so weird to me. Like I don't understand. Like, if you're going to ban women that are on the thinner side, it's way more important to ban morbidly obese models, or it makes no fucking sense. It's just like you're just picking and choosing sides. You know what this is? This is some woman in the office. If you raised it, you're like, hey, shouldn't we just get rid of these morbidly obese? There'd be some fat chick in the office that'd be like, I'm going to HR. You're discriminating against me. This is so weird. You know what? I think we can all agree that every ad should have like a chick who looks like Sydney Sweeney in it, and then we'll all be happy. She's not too skinny. She's not fat, and she's got a great rack. Everyone's happy. You just got to cool it on the talk of jeans. That's the only problem. You know, let's get natural racks back in ads. That's what I'm calling for. Okay? That would be my organization that I would start, the Natural Rack Committee. I would take one look at that Zara ad and be like, get some titties on that whore and put her on a billboard. That's the real issue. Is we need more big racks. Not too big. I don't want to see morbidly obese. Sorry, I had to make sure that my recording didn't stop. The screensaver went off. I got paranoid. We're on. We're on. We're still good. I'm doing a video about this. I don't know if it's out yet, but the censorship of the Australian internet is fucking crazy. I've been watching the government expand upon the under 16 social media ban. 16 and under, banned from social media. This is one of those laws where I 100% wholeheartedly agree with, but it just can't be a law. Kids 16 and under should not be on social media. They should not have smartphones. They should not have iPads. They should have very heavily monitored internet access that is limited to like maybe 2 hours a day. Streaming services should be locked down like Guantanamo Bay so that they can only see child-friendly content. I mean, I reckon if I had a child, we're going to VHS. It's going to be the 90s in this house. VHS, and then I'm going to raise them like a cult. I'm not even going to tell them the internet exists. I'm going to let them discover the invention of DVDs. You know, we're going to start off with VHS for 10 years, and then I'm going to go, great news, boy, we got DVDs. And then we'll go to Blu-ray, and by the time they're 16, then they can get fucking mind-fucked by Gooner shit on Instagram. But yeah, Australia is banning social media for under 16s. And that sounds like a great idea until you realize that the only way to enforce a ban of minors from the internet is to punish every single person who is exempt to the law, right? The only way to prove that you're not 16 is to give the government your ID or to give the website you want to use your ID. And in December, they're implementing it. And they legislated this law before they even figured out how they were going to enforce it. They made it a law, and as part of the law, they said, we're going to leave it up to the companies to figure out how to implement it. And they didn't clearly define what social media is. At the moment, it's Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and it previously was not YouTube, but now they've included YouTube. Here's the crazy thing. Kids can look at porn on Pornhub. That is not included in this legislation. So you don't have to prove you're not a minor to look at Pornhub or OnlyFans or whatever, but you do to go on Facebook. Makes no sense. When you start to realize that this is not about protecting children, it's about knowing exactly who is posting what. It's about killing anonymity online. That's what this law is about. I think it's no coincidence that when 100,000 people walked across Sydney Harbour Bridge to protest against a war that seemingly only the elites in this fucking country are invested in pursuing, they bring in these laws that make every single person who wants to voice an opinion online have to link that opinion with their home address and their ID, so the government knows exactly who you are. And they dress it up under the guise of, oh, we're protecting children from having iPads and from seeing bad things on social media. That's the parents' job. Yes, they're fucking it up and they're not doing it right, but that's the parents' job. Now I have to, in December, upload my fucking passport or my driver's license, which I have because I can drive, or whatever, to every single social media website that I want to use. And here's what's funny. Discord is not a social media under the law. Video games are not a social media under the law. I couldn't think of anything more damaging to a child's development than League of Legends and a Discord server attached to that. All right? If anything is gonna create a Nazi furry transgender kid, it is a combination of those two applications. What's scary about it is that it's already a law. They just haven't implemented it yet. So we didn't get a chance to vote on it. It's going to affect every single fucking adult in this country that is supposedly exempt from the law. It's a law that punishes us. And what's also scary about it is because the government, in classic Australian style, just made it a law and then said to the private companies, you guys figure it out. Now these companies who are incentivized to do this poorly because it doesn't make them money, it only costs them money, they're the ones that have to figure out how to prove that I am an adult and that I'm not 16. So what's going to happen now is that I'm probably going to have to upload my identification to every single social media website that I want to use, and I just have to trust that dozens of them and every subsequent app that is created is going to treat my identity with care and look after my address, my information. God knows what else I'm going to have to give these companies. And I'm going to have to give it to like fucking 12 of them. And I'm going to have to give it to every single social media company that either pops up or that the government decides is arbitrarily included in this law that can change at any moment. Who's to say that I won't, send out a tweet from an anonymous account about something and then some foreign employee of a fucking foreign billionaire's company goes, I wonder who that is. They look it up in the archives. Now my address is online. This is bad for women that are fleeing domestic violence situations. This is bad for people that are fleeing war zones or that are living in countries that have violent governments or regularly need to travel to them. This is bad for tourists who will have to, if they want to use social media in Australia, I assume they're going to have to upload their identification to, use social media in our country, and then they're going to have to go back, and again, some foreign company is going to have their information. And it probably won't be looked after because there's no profit incentive to do so. But the only alternative to freely giving out my information to dozens of foreign-owned companies who don't care about me and my privacy, The alternative to that is either A, I quit social media and lose my job, or B, the government has to come up with a centralized identity checker. And I don't know who I trust less, the foreign-owned billionaire social media companies or my own government. What, I'm going to have to give my government the ability to prove my identity, and then I got to link that government-approved identity to every social media account? Now the government can just be like, oh, I wonder who's tweeting that. I'll check that. Now I know. Let's shut him down. It's literally how fucking tyranny happens. And I'm not necessarily worried about the government that I have now, all right? I don't think I'm going to get arrested for an anonymous fucking thing that I post because it's linked to my ID now. That's not going to happen. I'm worried about the government that we might get in 15, 20 years. Who now, thanks to my government, who I, semi-trust, is going to have the ability to scrape 20 years of posts that are linked to my address and arbitrarily arrest me for any wrong thought. That's what happens by destroying online anonymity. I think it's a human right to be able to be anonymous online, to be able to voice your opinion without putting your home address attached to it. And that does come with a lot of bad things. Of course it does. It comes with a lot of horrible, toxic opinions and harassment, all this kind of stuff. But that's what we get when we have the right to express ourselves. And I just think that forcing adults to link their social media accounts with their digital ID, it's the start of this fucking surveillance state bullshit that we have been advancing for years and years and years. In Australia, they've already passed, I think it was 2015, they passed the Data Retention Act, which forces phone providers to monitor, log, and store for years every single person you're texting, your location data, all of that, so that the government can access it at any time they want, right? That Data Retention Act thing is going to surely be expanded to social media posts. And now your social media posts will be linked to your ID. It's the beginning of a true, proper surveillance state here in Australia. And because we are a fucking prison colony, we're all going to follow the rules to our own doom. Be like, oh, well, that's the new rule. We better do it. All of this because parents were too fucking retarded to not give an iPad to their 4-year-old while I'm trying to enjoy my time at the cafe. I gotta listen to some fucking toddler play Candy Crush on an iPad full volume, watching fucking YouTube and playing ads, max vol. Two iPads at a time because their parents are too fucking stupid to have a conversation with a 4-year-old. I can't remember if I talked about this, but do you know what I saw the other day when I was at a cafe? I saw a family, mum, dad, 2 little girls, and they were sitting at a table and they were all silent. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this family? And then I look over. Dad is reading a book. Mum was doing like a crossword. 8-year-old girl was coloring. 6-year-old girl was doing a collage that was obviously brought from home. And I looked at this family and I went, I haven't seen that since I was a child, before phones existed. And I compared the peace that was in that family with the fucking chaos that I see with every single other family in a public space. And I go, holy shit, those 2 little girls are going to have such an advantage over every single one of their peers because they know how to sit down in a public space and do some coloring without having a panic attack because their dopamine receptors aren't being, simulated by Spider-Man, Elsa, lewd pornography on YouTube. And then that makes me go, fuck, maybe it is worth a little bit of government tyranny so that I don't have to listen to some fucking idiot kid scream about an iPad. But here's the thing. That's still going to happen because an app isn't social media, is it? So it's not going to kill the iPad baby. It's just going to, I don't know. I guess the plus side of the legislation is that obviously kids are going to find a way around it, but they will be hiding the fact that they are children on social media, which will keep them safe from predators. That's, I guess, a good. And it will make it a lot easier for parents to say no to giving their kids smartphones because there won't really be a reason to own one because they can't use social media like all of their friends do. I guess that's good. But these goods don't outweigh like the fucking tyranny. This is a shit law and it punishes normal citizens, and it's a great excuse to log the keystrokes of every single person who might not be stoked about a certain war that's happening. Anyway, I've got an email here from a listener. If you would like to, if you need some life advice, if you have a story to tell me, if you have a question, send it through to my email, podcast@lewspears.com, lewspears.com, podcast@lewspears.com. I love stories. I love questions. I'm running low. So if you want to make the show, now's the time to send something. For the love of God, include punctuation. If you write something longer than one sentence and there's no paragraphs in it, I delete them because I'm not stumbling my way through it like I'm reading an email from the spokesperson from a fucking dildo crypto coin. All right? Try. Anyway, this is great. Look at this. 3 paragraphs. Love it. Advice question. How to overcome tall poppy syndrome. Hi, Lewis. You've mentioned on the podcast how Australian culture has a problem of dismissing/despising people who succeed. This ties in perfectly to what I was talking about earlier in the episode about leaving this place. I often feel like this in regards to myself and my own achievements, and I really want to know how you overcame this, if you have ever experienced it firsthand. I'm far more critical of myself and my own success than I am of others. In fact, I really like to see Australians succeed, and I try to support the ones I enjoy. Legend. But when I try to think of myself as successful, I get intense thoughts and feelings to just not even attempt it because I know I will fail, in quotation marks. You're very insightful and wise, so if you have some genuine advice, I would really appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know if I would call this tall poppy syndrome. Tall poppy syndrome is externalized. It's something that you look at someone else and you go, who does he think he is for being successful? I don't think it's something that is internalized. I think that's different. I think and I think a really good thing when you're struggling with something, anything, whether it's depression or thoughts like this or anger, is trying to correctly identify it. Because if you can't correctly identify it, you can't find the root of the cause. And if you can't find the root of it, you can't overcome it. You can't turn it into something beautiful. So when you call this tall poppy syndrome, I think you're wrong. Because tall poppy syndrome is when I look at you trying and I go, what are you, gay? That's what that is. You looking at other people and going, oh, well, I'm so proud of you. I support you. I think you can do it. But then looking at yourself and believing the opposite, that's not tall poppy syndrome. That's self-loathing. That's you having a low opinion of yourself. That's you thinking that you don't deserve good things or you don't deserve success. When I try to think of myself as successful, I get intense thoughts and feelings to just not even attempt it because I know I will fail. Yeah, that's low self-worth, man. That's you either thinking that you're nowhere near talented or you couldn't ever become successful, or it's thinking that, fuck, maybe I could become successful, but I don't deserve that because there's something wrong with me or I've done something. You need to what everyone needs to really try to understand is that There is no such thing as failing. It is not real. It is a social construct. What does exist and what is real is giving up, or worse, never trying. There is no such thing as failing because you can't. It's very, very unlikely for you to attempt something and not pull it off to such a degree that you cannot ever try again. All right? There is only trying and not trying enough. That's all that there is. This idea of failing doesn't exist. I think I'm a pretty good example of this, right? I try all the time and I try really hard, and there was a long period of time where I was too sick to do anything. And my career had all of this momentum, and then I hit a wall and I stopped. And a lot of people, and I had these thoughts, of course, a lot of people would just stop and be like, fuck, I had my shot. The world got in the way. It's not my fault, but everything fell apart. And, I lost everything. Right? And those were thoughts that I had. And those were worries that I had of like, man, how can I possibly come back from 4 years of being sick and inconsistent and then like essentially an entire year of disappearing? That, to a lot of people, that's failure. But it's only failure if you make it failure. I could have stopped there. Truly, I could have. I could have stopped. I could have gotten a job. I had the house. I had a mortgage. I could have just fucking gotten a normal job and be like, oh, well, I tried really hard with comedy, but the world got in the way and I failed. And I could feel bad about that, and I could make that true. That would be a decision that I made. But that failure is a social construct. It's imaginary. It's not real. We give that power. And I'm trying to tell you that, like, when you train for something like a race and you lose the race, I'm not saying that loss isn't real. I'm saying that the failure that you feel is fake, because there is no way to fail. There is only signals that you can use to pivot or continue or change direction entirely or go backwards and come at it another way. A good example of this, again, is like my sickness. I just tried to push through it and push through it and ignore it and ignore it and ignore it. And that did way more damage to me. And that did more damage to my career. What I should have done, and this is hindsight, and this was like way too scary for me to even conceive of the idea, but what I probably should have done is, in hindsight, is during COVID, when I started to become really ill, I probably should have just stopped everything. I would, work for a few years, make a little bit of money, because the online money was crazy back then. And then when I got really sick, was around 22 to 24. What I should have done is I should have gone, you know what? I'm going to go through all of these surgeries. I have some savings. What I should do is just quit, pause the Patreon, make a video going, hey guys, I'm really sick right now. I'm going to be back when I'm well. And I should have just taken 18 months off and not tried to post through the surgery and the recovery. And I could have used that money that I had to sustain myself, and I would have been okay. And then when I came back, it would have been fucking momentous. Instead, I tried to ignore reality and post my way through it and this and that. And then I was just inconsistent for years. And what I'm trying to say to you is like, There is no such thing as failing, because when you do something and it doesn't work, it's an opportunity to try it again, or try it differently, or try something else. There's no fail. It's not real. You think about you way more than anybody else does. I can't remember. I don't know anyone who's failed. I know a lot of people who quit. Have you, really think about it? Who do you know that failed? I can't name anyone. I can name a lot of people who quit. And probably a lot of those people who quit think they failed. They didn't fail, they quit. Failing is not real. The only thing that is real is trying and quitting. I have a letter from my grandfather that he wrote. He's 91. He still works. He's an architect, and he wrote this thing. It's not his words, but it's like his favorite quote for his life. And it's just persistence. Nothing in this world beats persistence. There are so many people that are very talented that have a natural gift for this, or they were born beautiful, or born into wealth, or have all these advantages. I know for a fucking fact, dude, especially with what I've been through, no one in this country, in my industry, is more persistent than I am, because there are so many difficult things that I have overcome or pivoted or worked my way around, that where I am now, I understand that I can tackle anything now. And all the things that I have overcome were times where I could have quit and gone, it's too hard, or I tried and I failed, and I could have accepted this fake idea of failure. There's no such thing as failure. There's trying and not trying. There's also no such thing as success. That's not real. There's trying and not trying. What is success? Having $1 million? I don't care about that. Success, for me, is becoming really good at comedy and making the world laugh and trying to do that. That's, to me, success. That's my personal definition of it. And someone else's idea of success will be very different, which means it's fake. It's not real. It's subjective. You've got to come up with your own idea of success. When I try to think of myself as successful, I get intense thoughts and feelings to just not even attempt it, because I know I will fail. The reason why you're so scared of failing is because you haven't tried anything, so you don't know what trying something and it not working feels like. Persistence. You build up a resilience to something, and you build up a resilience to things not working. And let me tell you, dude, any successful person has way more losses than they have wins. The difference between a successful person or an average person and an unsuccessful person is the ability to weather the storm, the resilience to losing, the resilience to trying something and it not working out the way you wanted it to. It's otherwise known as persistence. It's very scary, this idea of failure, when you've never actually tried. It sounds to me like you're just imagining trying something, and then you imagine failing at it, and then you psych yourself out. You haven't actually fucking done anything. You're scared of your own shadow. You can't. It's easier said than done. Believe me, I know. But you can't imagine yourself into doing nothing. That's the only real fail is never trying. So what I was talking about at the start of the podcast, if I go to the States and I fucking tried really hard and it all blows up in my face, I will know that I tried my best. I'll come home and I'll be like, at least I know. You don't want to be the person who's like, fuck, I never even found out if I could. And what's also fascinating about trying, because I'm 31 now, right? And unfortunately, I'm wise. You know, this is what this person said. You're very insightful and wise. Do you know why people call me that? It's because I've been through a lot of fucking pain and hardship and awful stuff, especially over the last 5 years. And I'm just coming out of that fog. And apparently I've come out wise. It's not something that you can be taught. It's something that you survive. And you come out broken or wise. Or both. What a lot of the things that I was terrified of that did happen, I have now come to be very grateful for. A good example is my illness where I lost everything for a couple years, right? I am now grateful that that happened because and it's taken a lot for me to get to this, but essentially in 2019, I was crushing it. I just dropped my comedy special. I was making a fuckload of money. I was only looking up and up. I had no expenses and no responsibilities. And I was like, I'm moving to America. I know I am. And I started talking to immigration lawyers and I was getting the ball rolling. And then COVID happened and I was devastated. And COVID went for 2 years. And I was like, holy fuck, what the hell? And then I got really sick. And then I had to go through my own little personal lockdown, basically, where everyone else got to go out into the world and I was stuck in my house getting decapitated and stitched back together for 2 years, right? And now I'm on the other end of it. I've been well for about maybe 18 months. I got the braces off January last year. So I've been well for 18 months. And I've been able to work on progressing forward rather than just undoing damage for the last 6 months. That's how new all this shit is. And the reason why I'm grateful for it is what a lot of people would look at as a failure of I was here and then I lost it all, right? Is because I now know with hindsight, if I moved to the States in 2019, I would have gotten sick there. Because that was always coming, right? That was in my cards. So what would have happened is, fuck, maybe I moved to the States and I got everything I wanted. And then I would have lost all of that. I would have had to come home. This is even if COVID didn't happen, right? So obviously COVID happened. Thank fuck it happened while I was in Australia, because if it happened in the States, I would have had to come home. And that would have been devastating. I would have spent all of my money getting over there and then I would have had to come back. But even if COVID didn't happen, I would have been in the States. Maybe I would have been building something. Maybe I would have been cast in a Marvel movie or whatever. And then I would have gotten really sick and I would have lost everything, spent all my money, and I would have had to either gone bankrupt getting the surgeries there, or which would have left me here, or I would have had to come home and do the surgery. Do you see what I mean? These things that at the time when they were happening, I was like, oh my God, I'm losing everything. I'm freaking out. I'm failing. It's the end of the world. I can now look back on with hindsight and be like, dude, I'm glad that happened then, because everything that I lost, if I was where I was dreaming of being, where I thought I would have been if these things weren't happening, if it happened when I had those things, I would have lost so much more and it would have been so much harder to get back. Now I know that when I do move to the States, I'm going as the healthiest version of myself with no, God forbid, medical emergencies in my future, but also with everything that I've been through, I'm going as the most resilient version of myself. So I know that no matter what the fuck I face over there as a broke immigrant, I will be okay. And the only reason I know this and I know these things is because I have persisted through these thoughts of, what if I fail and what if it doesn't work? The only way to know is to go out and do it. And the more you do it and the more you fuck it up, the more resilient you become to fucking up. And the more you get to a point where you realize the truth, which is there is no fucking it up. There is no failure. Those are just imaginary concepts invented by the human brain and anxiety to keep us safe and to keep us off the beaten trail and to stop us from trying anything because it's risky. And that's just an evolutionary thing, because before, risk meant, fuck, I might break my leg and then I'll die and I won't be able to find food. Now, those things, there's food in the fridge, brother. This anxiety stuff, it's designed to keep you safe from cave bears, not from posting something and getting no likes. It's not real. There is no failure. There is only not trying. That's what you need to understand. And the only way to truly understand is to actually feel it. So go out there and try something and be shit at it and understand that that's normal. You're supposed to suck. You're not good yet. That's fine. No one makes it overnight. Everybody just looks like they do. I've been posting since 2012. I haven't made it yet. I'm trying. I'm persisting. And I know that I'm the most resilient version of myself because I have worked through and overcome and experienced things that many people would have internalized as a failure and accepted as the universe telling them that they're not good enough. But I know I'm good enough, and I know that I can be one of the greats, and that's why I'm going to the fucking States, man. And that's what we're going to do, all right? I believe in you, buddy. Go out there and fuck it up. Be shit until you're good. I'm Lewis Spears. I'll talk to you on Patreon. There's an episode that's up right now for free. Thank you. See you later. Have a shit one. Bye.